Like many, like me, Jon Stewart was just a little bit disappointed in the Democrats for their perhaps in hindsight inevitable surrender on the shutdown. But I think better than most, he diagnosed why ending it when they did was such a massive and unique loss for the Democrats. I just want to read you a few of his quotes from Monday's edition of The Daily Show, because I appreciated the entire thing, but I think his closer was just so strong. He says, "Never, never, never has the gap between this administration and the people it claims to serve been so disgustingly visible than during this shutdown. This week, while the Trump administration was at the Supreme Court demanding that the court let them withhold food stamps from hungry Americans, Trump himself was at Mar-a-Lago with an all-you-can-eat shrimp and synchronized swimming buffet while the president of Argentina danced the night away, secure in the $20 billion we recently gave his country." And that's two massive over-the-top Great Gatsby parties that Donald Trump is holding while trying to make sure that workers didn't get paid, that hungry Americans didn't get food, and people were paying attention, and the election was a reminder of that. They were seeing it. And that unfortunately is now done. But he goes on to say, Americans were finally seeing the gap between how Donald Trump bends reality and actual day-to-day reality. This shutdown has focused America's attention away from his gift for distraction and onto stark actualities and seeing through many, for the first time, his bald-faced lying. He goes on to play a little bit of Donald Trump continuing to insist that there's no inflation when there very much is. And he says, and normally we have no inflation, goes the way of they're eating the cats and dogs, and I'm suing Rupert Murdoch because I'm not on the Epstein list, and all the other lies that Trump deploys in his reality distortion arsenal. But miracle of miracles, during the shutdown, the old songs ain't hitting like they used to. This is what the Democrats have squandered. They've squandered their leverage, sapped their voters' enthusiasm, and snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And I think that that is a perfect read. Not only how people were paying attention to the shutdown, but the fact that we had the elections showing that Donald Trump was on the back foot. People were talking about him already being a lame duck. And the Democrats decided to hand power back to him. And for what? For a promise that in December, they will get a vote on extending the ACA subsidies. And I told you yesterday, and a lot of people I think automatically believed, dude, you seriously are gonna believe them? The biggest liars in the history of American politics. And it's only taken one day. Mike Johnson is refusing to guarantee a vote on Obamacare. So maybe you get one in the Senate, or maybe not. But even if you do, Mike Johnson isn't even necessarily gonna hold a vote. And if he does, they're almost certainly gonna vote it down. And even if they don't, Donald Trump is definitely not going to sign it. That's what the leverage was about, not just having a vote, but making him do it. Making them not only consider extending the subsidies, but actually extending them before you reopen the government. And they've given that away. And in the end, it looks like they've given everything away. What do you think, Jackson?
Yeah, it does appear that they've given everything away, whether they have or not. It also makes it, the fight that they put up meaningless, because at the end of the day, Donald Trump has already made premiums more expensive. He's already decimated the Medicaid system. He's already cut SNAP benefits. And so that blame already goes on to him. And so, the argument for, oh, well, we got the holidays coming up and we don't want to take any blame. We don't want to take any heat. Then what you in the game for? Obviously, we know corruption. But yes, I mean, every time Democrats fold like this, they just tell Republicans in corporate America that they're never gonna see the fight through to the finish, which obviously goes without saying that we have to replace these people, and corruption is the main issue. But yeah, I mean, like the Donald Trump has already taken the heat and the blame for the things that he has done. And this was a Republican shutdown, but now the narrative is, oh, the Democrats, and that's their own fault.
Yeah, well, and the Democrats are making it look like, well, I guess they were doing it for nothing. I guess it was just posturing. It's not like they inflicted this harm by refusing to reopen the government and then got something for the American people. They didn't. They should have just surrendered immediately, day one. Then we could have avoided a lot of this trouble. They would have gotten just as much. Look, in the end, I still think that killing the ACA subsidies is gonna do a lot of damage to millions of Americans. That will have ripple effects in the midterm. So I think that politically, I think the Republicans are really going to regret getting what they wanted. They finally caught up to the car they'd been chasing. But in the meantime, a lot of people are gonna suffer as a result of that.